That's right. Stop the stigma, as we just heard. And I agree. Tony, at first I was a little uncomfortable with the applause because I'm thinking, why are we applauding about mental health? But you raised a really interesting point, that it is, we are really here to celebrate and have a conversation that most people don't.
We're breaking
the silence. I get the applause now.
That's why we're applauding.
Breaking the silence.
And the applause is to support all this.
Exactly.
To support this effort.
It really is just to support all of us today. As you've just heard, mental health is an issue. It concerns all of us. Nearly 48 million, listen to that number, 48 million U.S. adults experienced a mental illness in 2018 alone. Mental health disorders are real medical conditions, just like cancer or diabetes. They can change a person's emotions, your thinking, your behavior, and are caused by a variety of factors, including genetics, lifestyle, and certainly the environment.
Yet misunderstandings about mental health disorders are still common. A new CBS News poll finds 51% of Americans think there's a lot of discrimination and stigma against people living with mental illness. An additional 35% believe there is some.
And those numbers are too high. In preparing this special, we've consulted with the National Alliance on Mental Illness, the American Psychiatric Association, and a brain research group known as One Mind, all of them for editorial guidance. We did not do this alone. And we'll hear from some of their leading experts throughout our show. And while this is only 1 hour and it will only scratch the surface of topics surrounding mental health, CBS This Morning and all of us are committed to continued coverage of this important issue. Our mission this morning is clear and it is simple. It is time to stop the stigma.
Queer Eye star, that's Karamo, is one person trying to do exactly that. He's on the hit show that he's known for helping other people work through their own emotions.
You do need support from other people. I think you would feel so supported if people just knew that, no, it's not that I'm shutting off. I'm just trying to get myself together.
Yep. Might be time to talk to them.
That's the key thing. You're not alone in this.
It's a team thing.
Yeah.
I'm ready. Give me a hug, man.
But it's Karamo's own experience with severe depression, anxiety, and drug addiction that's helped him become an advocate for mental health. Karamo, we thank you for joining us.
Of course, I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
We're excited to have you here because you were telling me that this happened back in high school. You started having very dark feelings. What did that feel like? What did that look like to you?
You know, for me, it was waking up and feeling like the sun just wasn't shining as bright as the day before. Mm-hmm. And it kept getting darker each day, and yet I couldn't understand why. And I was sharing with you backstage, I went to my parents not understanding and having the language.
Like, what's happening to me?
Yeah, what's going on with me? And my mother and father were just like, pray it away. Yeah. Pray, you know, God will help you. And I do believe there's a space for prayer, but I also believe that there's also a space for finding help right here. But what do you do when you can't find that help?
This started as far back as high school. At its worst, what did it feel like?
It felt like I can't get out of bed, as if I was alone, as if things were not going to get better, as if like the smallest task felt overwhelming and as if I had a large weight on my shoulder. And that just progressively got worse and worse and worse.
And what was that turning point like? Because really this show is about those turning points where you said, I need help, or someone came to you and said, we can help you.
Yeah, for me, it was at the point of realizing that I needed to live a better life. I wanted to have a better life. And it was really seeing people in spaces like this, which is why I applaud everyone in this audience, where I said, you know what? If they're trying to be better, maybe I can be better too. And so I just started to try to find the help, educate myself, find support systems, and that was the first step.
But you said you didn't even know you could get help. You didn't even think that that was an option to you.
Oh, no. Yeah, not at all. I thought that mental health support was for rich people. You know, I didn't grow up wealthy.
You said rich white people.
Rich white people, to be very honest with you. You know, because watching television, I saw only rich white girls going to rehab and getting support. It's what I thought, you know, anyone who looked like me, I never saw them seeking mental health support or talking about their mental health.
Let's get a question from our audience.
Sure.
Remy is 24 years old. She struggled to talk with her family members about her experience with eating disorder and addiction. Remy, what's your question?
Hi, Karamo. My question is, what tips do you have for those who are struggling with mental health that come from cultural backgrounds that don't typically encourage speaking out about it?
First of all, I want to just applaud you for being so open about your struggle. Thank you so much. That's really great. I think one of the main things is that we have to remember communities of colors or people of immigrants, they sometimes don't have the information. There's a lack of information. There's also a lack of access to health care. And so we have to understand all those factors play into why they're not talking about mental health and why it's not important to them in a sense. And so giving them the education that they need is really key in steps. So for you, getting to a place where you feel comfortable, it's about educating them to let them know that the same way if I had a physical wound, mom and dad, you would want me to tend to that every single day. Let them know the physical wound is in my mind or in my heart. And that's a way to help them to understand that.
And needs just as much
Yeah.
attention. Thank you, Remy. You've also talked about members of the LGBTQ community have a higher rate of suicide attempts than the general population. You yourself said that you had tried to take your own life years ago.
I did.
What is your message about that?
You know, when it comes to the LGBT community, a lot of us suffer bullying, we suffer rejection, we suffer depression, anxiety. And so you have to remember that in the LGBT community, again, you're already feeling isolated from your family or groups of support. So where do you turn when you feel like this? And for me, it was important to make sure that I reached back out to LGBTQI youth. I worked in social services for many years, helping those youth to understand there is a place and there is support for them, that they don't have to live in this dark cloud every day, that they can get help.
But you thought taking your life was a viable alternative for you?
I did. You know, once you
got that dark.
Yeah, it did get that dark for me. I sat there one day and thought, this is never going to get better. And I'm someone who was educated and understood mental health and could help other people, but couldn't help myself in the moment.
I want to get another question from the audience. Will was diagnosed with depression when he was a sophomore in high school. Will, what's your question?
I have found that regularly checking in with my family, like my mom here, as well as daily meditations and writing have been crucial to my mental health. What other daily routines have helped you?
Really great question. Thank you again for being open. One of the things that I help people to realize is that the same way you set goals for your life of the career I want, the family I want, also set daily emotional goals. So for me, I wake up in the morning and I say, today I plan on being happy. And if there's things that are happening in my life where I don't see myself being happy, I try to find support from other people, or I try to figure out what I can do within myself, what education I can get. And I think that's really important because when we talk about our emotions, we think of them as this ambiguous thing that's happening, or like if I want a good year, as if like every day something doesn't happen that changes that.
Quickly give us the Winnie the Pooh advice you love.
A great spiritual leader.
Yes,
Winnie the Pooh.
he is a great spiritual leader. I don't remember the quote exactly, but Winnie the Pooh. You do have the quote?
Oh yeah,
Tony's
no,
got
I love this. Winnie the Pooh. Here's what he said: "You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think."
Yes.
All right, Karamo, thank you very much.
I like daily emotional goals. I like that.
If you are experiencing a mental health crisis, help is available. Call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255 or contact the Crisis Text Line by texting TALK to 741-741.